Yo, this is Ad from Skewville, and I am here in sunny London for my solo exhibition at High Rollers Society. The name of the show is Slow Your Roll, and that's basically just playing off the name of the gallery. Everyone in street art thinks they're like a high roller, and everyone thinks, you know, they could just come into the scene, put up a bunch of posters, and all of a sudden become rich and famous. And honestly, if we were doing this like 8-10 years ago, if I did get rich and famous, I probably would be an asshole and not do all this other stuff. But I feel like since New Yorkers are really harsh on you and like don't accept stuff right away, it makes you kind of work harder and push harder to do newer stuff and to kind of innovate yourself. We did 2 pieces across the street that say yo and yo, kind of talking to each other. The other piece was on a butcher shop. 2 old men walked by and they're like, "Are you a graffiti writer?" And then the guy looked at the sign and then what I wrote and that it said beef, and he's like, "Oh, okay," and kind of gave me a thumbs up. But it's just funny because these girls come by and everyone thinks, "Oh, are you Banksy?" And it's like, oh, come on, like obviously not, but I say yes, and then I get a group photo and hugs and kisses, so sometimes it works to your advantage. Most of the work here is kind of almost like a self-portrait. If you kind of read into them, most of them have like a double face on them, and kind of me being a twin and kind of having to deal with not really having your own identity. And also, if you look deeper, it's kind of the city kind of engulfing the people and everything going on like internally as opposed to externally. So, you know, most of the time I'm stuck in my basement working on my artwork. So a lot of the stuff comes from inside of me then. And I try not to be influenced too much by what's around me or by other people's art and that kind of stuff. So the whole idea of kind of slow your roll is like everyone wants fame, everyone wants fortune, everyone wants desire, but the truth is that those are all real traps for people. And the same thing with the bottles too, is like you kind of get drunk with desire and you pretty much lose all your hopes and your dreams. Because when you really, I feel like when you really, really want something, or whenever I really, really want something, it rarely ever happens. So I think the older I get, the less that I want, the more that anything happens, I'm kind of happy with it. And that kind of goes against, that kind of goes with that idea that every corner there's a treasure and everything around me is kind of like, look at it as like an opportunity. I feel like every time I throw a pair of sneakers, you get that feeling every time. And I feel like if they were going to be for sale, then I feel like I wouldn't really have that same passion for them, you know? Funny thing though is like every time me and Drew would go out, we'd go out like 6 o'clock in the morning. Like we never bombed at night, we always went early in the morning. So we're like these 2 old fat dudes driving around in a van, and then you see these young kids looking at you like you're the cops. So that happened every time, that we would just scare kids off.